Education becoming a center subject, like what would you suggest?
No, education, see now, the money comes from, 90% of money comes from education, from the center. Now, for example, the compulsory education and free education up to the age of 40, even though Parliament passed in 2007 a bill, unless the state agrees, it will not come to a guarantee. So next year going to come into being. So it's connected like that because the constitutional amendments are needed that way. Constitutional amendments, the big thing, states should have, they are the primary stakeholders, you know, and you should address that problem. Whether we go for a constitutional change or can we manage with this type of a bill what we are passing. So it's an issue you have to address. Yeah.
Sir, do you think the new government policy, inclusive policy in higher education sector is actually denying chances for mentorship?
I think so.
The new inclusive policy.
Inclusive policy, yeah.
What do you think, like, it's actually denying chances for mentorship?
New inclusive policy.
Meritorious students are affected.
Inclusive policy of education.
Does it not affect the meritorious students? That's what.
See, I told you in the morning, only solution, reservation should be minimized by increasing the number and quality of teaching, quality of teachers, increasing the number of teachers. So that you increase the number of seats. Why meritorious candidates should go out for education? You find a place in the country. It's possible. The government started 5 IITs more. And also recently IITs, 30% they are increasing. IIM also started, IIM also some new IIM. And then there is another institute, Indian Institute of Education Research. There are 10 institutes that are coming. There is BSc, MSc, PhD.
Science.
It's a science one, promoting the science. So the opportunities are coming. My feeling is that since the number of seats are increasing now, the meritorious candidates will somehow be benefited. Yeah.
So in the health sector, first thing is there is too much centralization between and the variation between states is more. And still the planning is more focused on centralized planning. And staffing norms basically are not clear and not revised. Also, there is no follow-up on the utility of assets, asset productivity. And recently, there is more focus on the programs coming up influenced by the political parties in the health sector like the PM Yojana. So what is the future effect of these things in the new plan?
See, I was thinking about it after you said that you are mail. See, I visualized, just now I got that idea, I am not sharing it. You know, EMRI, 108 for health sector. This is a partnership between private and public. You know, it is an excellent partnership. That means every state gives the money, he blesses the program, and this EMRI provides the support. I am thinking, why not we promote all the primary health centers, all the thousands of primary health centers, activate through similar to EMRI. What is it?
Yes, it is possible because what happens is the uniqueness of the EMRI is generally government scheme, private sector participates. Here the private sector initiated the initial phase and driven by their efficiency, technology and performance. The government went in and said, you come here. Now this model will always work because the efficiency is already pretty big. And it can be done, and EMRI is partly going to the treatment level. But that has to be extended to the primary level. Today it is only accident related. It can be in scope, can be enlarged.
No, I want to, any one of you help me to evolve something like the EMRI system It became a public-private partnership. Okay? Public-private partnership.
So there was an idea given by a friend of mine in the insurance for health insurance for everyone. He said that like when we recharge a cell phone which is reaching to a larger part of India, if every time say we set aside rupees 10 every month and then we have about rupees 120 collected every year. And then perhaps this can be taken to give insurance to the poor and voluntarily people can opt out of the system if they feel they have done other health insurance.
Good idea, sir. Good. Last year, 83 million cell phones were sold. 83 million cell phones were sold last year. Point is a very, very good, very interesting
We
idea.
are adding every month 9 million.
Right. 8 million is being added. And he says every time you charge, at that time you collect 10 rupees.
10 rupees.
Actually, the Kerala, the model which is taking place in Karnataka is exactly that. They are not taking from there. They are paying 10 rupees per month per individual. And all operations are free.
So the merit of the point is, just as employment guarantee scheme in Maharashtra is funded by the professional tax paid by the professionals in Mumbai city, one city. One city finances entire employment guarantee scheme of the Maharashtra state. I think this idea is worth thinking about.
Yeah.
This idea is worth thinking
Very great.
Yes, a lot of merit, sir. A lot of merit.
Government of India has just launched a scheme where all BPL families in some selected districts will be covered in a group insurance scheme, and this particular hospitalization expenses are covered by the state union government. They don't have to pay anything. In Gujarat, it will be implemented maybe somewhere in the next year. So 2 districts in Gujarat are now selected.
Yeah, and Andhra Pradesh is doing this. Andhra Pradesh is already
The advantage of using contributions from society is you have to be more accountable. You cannot use the argument that because we are using our budgetary resources, we have right to be inefficient. You cannot say that.
No, we are not using the government.
When people pay for it, the person who pays only 120 rupees will demand performance.
The private hospitals are routine, and it is a sort of a cashless sort of a thing. You can go to any corporate hospital. There is an outer limit within which they can be treated.
Sir, we have to wrap up. Any last point before we close? Yes, Sanjay, and then I'll last 2 questions.
Actually, in Pura we have like 7,000 Puras. So basically what I want to ask is like, what are criteria we are like to decide we will have 7,000 Puras? Because I feel that like to make it viable, like first we should go for 600 districts. So district headquarters should be considered as a primary destination for Puras, and next we can take to the next level.
Actually, 11th plan, government has decided 2 Puras per district. That is 2 Puras which are 600 into 1,200 Puras, 11th plan. But you know what happens, Pura is not only government.